And yes, you are listening to the Andrew Gosser Show on the great 103.9 WYAB out of Flora, Mississippi. Yes, indeed. We are streaming on Rumble. We are streaming on X. We are streaming on YouTube. We're streaming on that social media platform that begins with a F, but we don't like saying the name. And of course, at the mothership, WYAB.com. Appreciate it. I'll follow on Twitter if you would, or X as it's called. I'll probably say Twitter till the day I die, but it's just at Andrew Gosser, AndrewGasser. Go ahead and give me a follow on X. I'd appreciate it. And as every day, today is Friday. Today's not every day, but it's today. And today is Friday, August 1st, first of the month. Whoop, whoop. And our mission every day, doesn't matter what day it is to equip the saints. And who are the saints? Well, you're one of the saints. That's what we're talking about. One who is slow to anger is great, has great understanding, but one who is quick-tempered exalts foolishness. And that's the whole name of the game. It just seems like every time I'm going doing show prep and reading stuff, it's just what story gets me upset? What story gets me angered and fired up and wanting to go charge hell with the water pistol? And I genuinely start off every day trying to find good, positive stories, and I always weave a few in there. But some of them are just so outrageous and outlandish. Like you have to confront this when you see it, because if you don't, it'll just grow and fester inside your own sphere of influence. You know, you can't worry about what's happening outside of your sphere of influence. You can only control what you can control. That's the second rule of politics. And there's so many good stories out there. We potentially might have a Kamala Harris update. She was on Stephen Colbert. I put it down at the bottom, and she's still talking word salad nonsense, absolute nonsense. Yesterday was day 2 of the Neshoba County Fair as far as political speeches are concerned. Had some heavy hitters talking yesterday. There was some good stuff that was said. There's some stuff that was said that was good, but it didn't tell the whole story, which just seems to be the status of politics these days. Just telling you what they think you want to hear and not going through with the whole kit and caboodle. We still have that survey from Mississippi Today. I've got to see if I can hook that up because I feel like that's something really big. And but without further ado, we got to start off at the federal level. Hold on a second here. Got to start off at the federal level. NBC News. And a judge, yet another federal judge, another Kang who wears black robes. Actually, I think this is a queen. Judge blocks Trump administration from ending protections for 60,000 from Central America. You see how ending protections? This is where like so many people do not critically read. They just read and consume. Oh, they're ending protections. Well, what kind of protections? Well, let me tell you. Temporary protections. Temporary protections from Nepal, Honduras, and Nicaragua. Temporary protected status. Yep. And if you had to guess, valued listeners, if you had to guess where this judge made this ruling out of, where would you guess? Your guesses are Washington, D.C., New York, Los Angeles, or San Francisco. If you guess San Francisco, you would be right. Ding, 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 ding. They don't even talk about the name of this judge for the first 3 paragraphs. I should have here it is. District Judge Trina L. Thompson in San Francisco did not set an expiration date, but rather ruled to keep the protections in place while the case proceeds. And the next hearing date is when? November 18th. You see what they're doing? They're dragging this out. In the meantime, we're trying to get rid of these people who are not supposed to be here in the first place. We're trying to get rid of people who were brought here because they needed temporary status, but that temporary status has gone on for way too long. In some cases, more than 25 years. In it saying, while the protections allowing 51,000 Hondurans and nearly 3,000 Nicaraguans who have been in the U.S. for more than 25 years. It's time to go home. we simply do not have the cash to keep on doing what we're doing. But these judges are going to continue to do this. But what's really interesting with these judges is they keep on finding way to inject race and ethnicity and bigotry into their rulings. It's the judge is just out of control. She says that statements made by President Trump and Kristi Noem have made or have perpetuated the discriminatory belief that certain immigrant populations will replace the white population. No one is saying that. We're saying if you're here illegally, you need to go. And it doesn't matter what color you are. You know, they're trying to have people who are quote unquote white removed from the country. There are people that are black that they're trying to remove from the country, Hispanic, Asian, Russian, European, Middle Eastern. She then went on to say color is neither a poison nor a crime. Well, I agree with that. Color is not a crime, but if you're here in the country illegally, then it is a crime. And NBC just goes on to write this article on how sad it is to end a temporary protection order after 25 years. And people wonder why President Trump continues to soar and soar and soar. And he gets stronger. It's like these hits come at him and he gets stronger. And not only that, but he is doing things, he's setting things in motion, in place, that are going to have generational effects. And one of these effects is redistricting. And there's an article here from CNN. He's got that Harry Enton guy. He's kind of charismatic. He always has that tight, skinny suit on and sitting there looking right at you, making some silly comments. But he has a really good point here. And I want to play a little bit of this sound, not the whole article, because that's like 2 minutes, but I want the intro to this.
Yeah, it could make a huge difference. This, in fact, could win or maintain control for the Republicans in the House of Representatives. What are you talking about? Well, Texas has 38 congressional districts. Look at those that Trump won last year by at least 10 percentage points. Under the current lines, it's 25. Under the proposed lines, it's 30. That's 5 potential pickup opportunities for the Republican Party. They are playing hardball at this particular point. And right now, it seems to me that Democrats are actually playing close to the Little League Pee-wee.
And that's a very good analogy by Mr. Harry Enton. What have we said? They're playing checkers. We're playing 4D chess. You want to say Major League Baseball to Pee-wee? That's about right. And what people don't realize is people have already done studies where they say, oh, this is gerrymandering in Texas. And then they go and look at California, New York. You know, California is 41% Republican. And yet out of all their seats, they only have 8. I think 47 seats, and they've got 8. But yet they're 40% of the population. You tell me that's not gerrymandered. Those lines are just completely rigged. Terrible. Illinois is the same way, New York's the same way, and all of a sudden now, lines are being redistricted and redrawn, and all of a sudden now, everybody's so upset about it. They can't stand it. And like I've got articles from Hakeem Jeffries and from Chuck Schumer, and we'll hear from Chucky later, but they're just sitting there fit to be tied that Texas is doing what it's doing. And what Texas is doing is completely within the scope of the law. That's the crazy thing about it. Whereas if they tried to do this in California or Illinois or New York, they have quote unquote fair election boards that draw their districts. And that's the only way to do it. And if you look at some of those districts, and we've talked about it here in Mississippi too, we're not free from some interesting looking state rep districts, state senate districts. Our congressional districts could be a lot better, but they are not nearly of like what you would see out of Illinois as an example. We're doing a lot better there. One more little clip from Mr. Harry Enton.
So 5 seats, what would 5 seats in Texas do for Republicans in Congress overall?
You might think 5 seats is just 5 seats, but keep in mind this. Margin to spare for the House majority. In 2020, the Democrats had 4 seats. 2022, Republicans had 4 seats. This time around, 2 seats for Republicans out of the 2024 elections. 5 seats can make all the difference in the world, and that is why Republicans in Texas providing 5 pickup seat opportunities could, in fact, make the difference between Republicans losing control of the House of Representatives and maintaining control of the House of Representatives.
And that's the big deal for 2026. But what is really even a bigger deal is what's going to happen in 2030 when the census is redone and they make sure that when they do the census, they don't count illegal aliens as people living in their congressional districts. It's U.S. citizens. California is set to lose 5 seats. New York is set to lose 3 seats. Illinois is going to lose 2 seats. And where are those seats going? Into Texas, into Florida, into South Carolina. Georgia may get one too, actually. But that's going to completely change the Electoral College map. It's going to make the Republican Party stronger, whether you like the Republican Party nationally or not. It's going to make the Republican Party stronger in Mississippi, whether you like it or not. And that's why you hear me, not daily, but often, say how important it is to be a delegate inside the Republican Party every 4 years. That's why I say it's so important to be a precinct delegate. I almost said a precinct captain, committeeman, whatever you want to call it. It's enormous power. It's small, but at the same time, you're having an enormous impact on the Republican Party locally. Now, if you're one of these individuals who can stroke checks for 1, 2, 5 million, you might be able to play a different game. But I would humbly argue to most of us who are out there doing our 9 to 5s. Thank goodness today it's not quite as hot as it was yesterday, but it's still up there. To all you fellows out there working the construction jobs who are listening, tuned in, I appreciate you each and every day. This might be a way for us to get involved. It's why I always talk about things like Grip and Grin next Wednesday, 11:30 at Mama Hamill's in Madison, Mississippi. Great event to go start meeting people and connecting. There's good people there. Some people you might like, some people you might not, some people you might agree with me, some people you might not. But there are people there who are more than willing to hook you up and start getting you involved here locally. We were talking about the school boards yesterday. There's always that opportunity. When we get back, we've got to talk about Governor Tate Reeves and his speech at Neshoba County. It was a good one. And we're also going to talk about Lynn Fitch and her speech. Believe it or not, it was okay. But there was something missing, something lacking. And we're going to talk about that when we get back right here on the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB.
WYAB.
Hi, this is Lee Atkins of Home Care Plus in Ridgeland. We are a proud carrier of Abena Premium Incontinence products. Abena has the most absorbency available, making changes and leaks less likely. After 7 years as a seller, I can tell you these products are amazing and worth every penny to quality of life for patient and caregiver. And we ship all incontinence products as well. So please come see us at Home Care Plus in Ridgeland for all the incontinence needs of you or your family member. That's Home Care Plus in Ridgeland.
Have you noticed all these people acting like the sky is falling? All this tariff talk has folks real nervous, but at iGear Optical, we've got you covered. Our prices remain solid on all our quality products. While all other shops are raising prices, we are not. Come get a great pair of eyeglasses, computer glasses, or sunglasses that fit you, your lifestyle, and your budget every day at Eye Gear Optical, 2630 Highway 80 East in Pearl, and on the web at eyegearoptical.com.
Your roof is constantly exposed to the elements, battling dirt, algae, and stains. But with Watkins Construction and Roofing Roof Wash Service, you can keep it looking like new. A proprietary rooficide treatment is EPA approved, safe, and guaranteed to prevent algae from coming back for at least 2 years. No harsh chemicals, no damage, no black streaks. Just a clean, beautiful roof that lasts. Call Watkins Construction and Roofing at 601-966-8233 or visit nomoreroofstains.com today.
Whether new construction or remodeling, Stephen Arrington and his team at Elite Custom Construction can design and build your dream kitchen and cabinets, inside and outside. Using high-quality products, Elite Custom Construction specializes in cabinetry and intricate millwork. Established in 2011, licensed and insured, Elite Custom Construction is your solution to your next project. Call Stephen at 601-927-0552 or visit them online at elitecustomconstruction.net.
Where do you stand in the pro-life community? If you're passionate about protecting the sanctity of life from fertilization to natural death, please join us at Pro-Life Mississippi as we make a difference and save lives right here in our own state. Pro-Life Mississippi is a community of individuals dedicated to equipping others to value all human life, including the preborn, those with disabilities, and the elderly. Our mission is simple: to provide unwavering support, education, and advocacy for the preborn, their families, and other vulnerable children and adults. If you're just starting your pro-life journey or you have been an advocate of life for many years, Pro-Life Mississippi needs your voice and talents to save lives in Mississippi. Together, we can make a difference in building a stronger pro-life Mississippi. Learn more about us at prolifems.org. That's prolifems.org. Be part of the community that celebrates each and every human life.
Picture owning a piece of land where your dreams can take root and flourish. This is Tom Smith from Tom Smith Land and Homes, Mississippi's premier land and home real estate resource. I want to help you find your own paradise where you can build the home that you've always wanted or just enjoy the great outdoors. Tom Smith Land and Homes can help you secure your own slice of heaven right here in Mississippi. Visit TomSmithLandandHomes.com to invest in you and your family's legacy for today and tomorrow.
Now's the time to get a great deal on a Kubota Z200 series mower with the new K-Ride comfort system. Designed to optimize your ride, the series delivers a quality cut and an exceptional ride. Right now, bring home select Kubota equipment for $0 down, 1.99% APR for up to 48 months. Now through September 30th. See us or go to KubotaUSA.com for full disclaimer.
Divini Equipment, serving you in Madison and Jackson. Stop, call, or click at DiviniEquipment.com.
And we are back at the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB. Do me a follow if you're listening on the stream. I would appreciate it if you retweet it, like it, share it, let people know. I would greatly appreciate that. And I'm really excited because this segment is sponsored by Elite Custom Construction, LLC. My good friend, Stephen Arrington, has been in business a long time, and all he does is custom cabinetry work and custom construction. So if you're looking to remodel your kitchen or have some new cabinets built, Stephen's the way to go. He's licensed and insured, honest guy. He'll tell you straight up how it is. I've been a friend of his for over 8 years. And I've watched him do his business, and it's always been upstanding. He's located on 608 El Dorado Road, Unit 31 in Pearl, Mississippi. If you want to give him a call, the number is 601-927-0552. And you can find him online at elitecustomconstruction.net. Stephen, thank you so much for sponsoring the show. Moving forward, we're going to get you on here in the studio in the next week or so we can talk about everything that you're doing. And again, if you're looking for some custom cabinetry work, some custom work done in your house, Stephen's the guy to talk to at Elite Custom Construction, LLC. That's awesome. I'm really excited to have that. We've got to talk and move into Governor Reeves' speech at Neshoba. And his main push, along with Speaker White's speech, by the way, was education and how they want to go ahead and open up more education opportunities, not just for people who are graduating high school, but for that K to 12 region. Because there are great schools out there, public and private, and there are some poor schools out there, public and probably private too. You just don't hear about them because they go out of business because no one wants to send their kids there anymore. That's how that works. And this is coming from Magnolia Tribune, by the way. Really appreciate all the work that they do. They do a lot of great journalism for Mississippi. And the thing that Governor Reeves really talked about was all of the accomplishments that Mississippi has had since they really started pushing education in Mississippi. And this started in 2012. It said that the state embarked on a package of education reforms, rewriting standards to raise the bar for students and teachers while investigating more tax dollars into educators and classrooms. Mississippi had to take bold action. And he said there were a lot of naysayers out there who said, nope, this is the way you got to do it. You've got to follow what the NEA says. You've got to go ahead and do what the federal government says. Morning, Brother John. Good to see you. And the thing about it is the federal government is releasing the shackles on how we educate our kids. And I guarantee you that our kids here in Mississippi we're already up to 16th, I believe. We're going to be even better. We're going to be even better. Imagine when local school boards and local parents working together with the teachers are going to be able to say what we want to teach our kids about. All this DEI stuff's got to go. And I realized that we have a judge that's temporarily blocked that in Mississippi, but that'll be appealed and brought up the chain. And just like everything else, it's got to get past these federal judges, and it's going to take a long, long time. I mean, President Trump will replace a lot of these judges as they retire and otherwise leave the bench. But you're going to have more presidents after Trump. Well, whether that be J.D. Vance, DeSantis, some of my friends are big Vivek fans, and I like all three of them. I sincerely do. If you look at how President or Vice President Vance is doing right now, amazing job. Fierce defender of Trump, goes out there, does what he needs to do. DeSantis has kind of turned that corner with President Trump. They seem to be on friendlier ground now. That's great. And Vivek is running for governor right now in Ohio, but there are people who want him to be president. These judges are out of control. Again, it's the no kings, no queens. Well, we do have kings and queens in the United States of America, and they all wear black robes, most likely on the federal bench, but it could be on the state bench too. There's a distrust for that, and it's been rightfully earned, quite frankly. And as we see more of this nonsense fall out, whether it be for the DEI issue or the immigration issue, but getting back to what Governor Reed said, he said, that's when we took bold action to reform our state's education system, the governor said. What we did wasn't popular. In fact, most of the activists hate it. Imagine that. Not experts, but activists. I think that was a very careful choice of words right there. You've got these educational activists. You've got these environmental activists. You've got these political activists. We've got to graduate from the activist and expert mode into actually practicing. You've got to practice it. And if you're practicing politics, that means building up your networks, going out, figuring out what your neighborhood's caring about and going down that route. Or some of it too, it might be issues that have impacted your family personally. Drunk driving, child trafficking, drugs, alcohol, your niche, your why of why you're doing it. But just sitting there having these people show up screaming at school board meetings, screaming at politicians, that's never going to get you anywhere. You might get you your 5 minutes of fame. You won't even get 15 minutes anymore. It's down to 5. You're in the internets. Governor Reeves has truly embraced what President Trump is doing in Washington, D.C., and so is Speaker White, and they're trying to take some of those things and incorporate it into Mississippi. What we all know it, though, Mississippi, we should have no problems doing this. And I'm not here to, like, berate Speaker White. I'm not here to condemn him or anything, but I'd really like to sit down and say, why can't we do these things? I mean, some people very evident say that, look, the Senate is where the hangup is, and they blame Delbert Hosemann, but and I can see that, and I can understand that, but I don't know if I completely accept it. Are there ways to make the lieutenant governor bend to what we want to have done, other than just doing our pinprick protests? I I know that we can, and I know that there are great people out there doing everything that they can do, but there has to be a better attack plan. And before my man, he's always saying I'm talking violently. My attack plan is a political attack plan. Yesterday, apparently, with Brother Snowball calling in saying all means necessary, they tried to transfer that onto me, and I'm like, no, 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 no. So when we say something like that, we're talking politically. We're talking strategy. We're not talking violence. But you gotta be careful out there because people will try to pin that on you, and then the next thing you know, someone takes a clip of your show, puts it on a website that's not necessarily very popular, but it gets around. It might get 5 or 6 views on X, and all it takes is one big count to click it, and boom, you're off and running to the races. But if that happens to us, that's okay. We got an open seat right over here. We'll bring him into the show. We'll have that great debate. We'll have that conversation, and we'll go from there. I want to read this, these last 2 quotes from Governor Reeves because I think it shows his grit, his tenacity, and his ability to when he feels he needs to, like, rub some dirt in it, he's not afraid to. "I am so glad we had the guts to run over the naysayers," he said to cheers and applause. "Let me remind you, education freedom is a pillar to our adopted Republican Party platform." I was there. I remember when we did that. It was actually really good, and it has been highlighted by President Trump and his Make America Great Again agenda entitled America First: To Return to Common Sense. That's what Speaker White said. So there were some great speeches about education reform. We've talked about how Speaker White is putting together a task force on that. I still haven't seen anything on it, but I know it's out there, and I'm not, like, belittling him for not being invited. I don't expect to be invited or even see it, but I'd like to know when the meetings are, because if I could possibly attend them, I would. And I think that there are people in this audience, if they could be more involved with something like that, especially we have many teachers who are retired who still want to give and serve to their communities. And next to parents, teachers are right there. Teachers and pastors are right there with them, with the kids. So we need to make sure that they're empowered to help our communities grow. You're listening to the Andrew Gossard Show on 103.9 WYAB. We will be right back.
Keep it tuned here to 103.9 WYAB.
Fox News commentary.
The ridiculous rage campaign against Sydney Sweeney for her jeans continues. I'm Tommy Lahren. More next.
Sponsored by AxeCap Ventures. America, listen up. Gold prices are breaking records. With inflation raging and central banks hoarding, every American should own gold. And like President Trump said, whoever holds the gold makes the rules. AxeCap Ventures owns one of Nevada's largest undeveloped gold deposits and trades for pennies on the dollar. This could be your way to ride the gold boom. AxeCap trades under GARLF on the OTC. Visit axecapventures.ca today.
I thought the woke rage campaign against Sydney Sweeney and American Eagle over the harmless jeans ad would be reserved for keyboard warriors, but no, even ABC's Good Morning America dedicated a whole segment to discussing the concerning message of celebrating the genes of a white woman with blue eyes and blonde hair. Mainstream media has totally bought into the ridiculous narrative that featuring a white female actress who by all accounts is Hollywood's it girl, but also happens to be white, blonde, and blue-eyed, is somehow promoting white supremacy. But the message they're really sending is, if you're white and blonde and blue-eyed, you don't get to be proud of that. You don't get to show it off. You must be ashamed of it or downplay it as much as possible to appease the woke mob. Hollywood decided Sydney Sweeney was the it girl of the moment. And last time I checked, Hollywood certainly doesn't take its marching orders from MAGA or conservatives or Donald Trump. Take it up with the movie execs, or better yet, get a grip. I'm Tommy Lahren.
It's no secret the Honda and Acura vehicles are some of the best built and most popular vehicles in America. Both Clinton Body Shops are ProFirst certified to repair your Honda or Acura to the high standard of safety and appearance your car was designed to meet. Visit collision.honda.com and watch the videos that explain why it's so important to choose a body shop certified by North American Honda. In Clinton or in Richland, choose Clinton Body Shop. We work for you. We take pride in perfection.
Tools, paint, mowers, equipment parts, service, and rentals are all under one roof at Hometown Hardware in Flora. Hometown Hardware has what you need and professional staff to steer you in the right direction. Hometown Hardware carries top brands like Hustler, Steel, and Milwaukee. Hometown Hardware even has a full lumber yard, paint matching, pool water testing, propane filling, key cutting, and much more. Hometown Hardware, Highway 49 in Flora.
Hello, WYAB listeners. My name is Rob Montgomery. I'm a minister in the Church of God, and I'm honored to be the regional overseer for the Church of God of Louisiana and Mississippi. I invite you to listen to my program, Arise Shine, on Sunday mornings, where I'll share the Lord's thoughts to my heart for you. Arise Shine will include Bible messages, encouraging thoughts, and a biblical view of current events. It's my hope that you'll be blessed.
Tune in to Arise Shine, Sunday mornings, 10:30 to 11. What are people saying about Tom's Fried Pies in Richland?
I'm on a diet. I don't want to be down there at Tom's Fried Pies. We had a good time. When I tell you the crust was flaky, I'm talking about buttery. This was nothing like I've ever tasted. Ever. I mean, I've never tasted anything like that, man. It was nice. Atmosphere was nice. Everybody there was nice. Because I'll be back, even though I don't supposed to with my diet. I thoroughly enjoyed myself.
Tom'sFriedPies.com. Tom'sFriedPies.com.
I'm Sean Yurtkaron, and I've spent nearly 20 years in the courtroom, first as a prosecutor in Hinds County, now fighting for my clients as a defense attorney. I know how the system works, and I know how to protect your rights. If you're facing criminal charges, don't wait. Call me at 601-862-1320 or visit me at onetextlaw.com. That's onetextlaw.com. Serious cases need serious defense. And remember, just because you did it doesn't mean you're guilty. Let's get to work.
Yeah, we are back on the Andrew Gosser Show, 103.9 WYAB. Look, if you want to be part of the program today, the number is 601-879-0002, and the text line is open, 601-879-5060. Apparently, everybody seems to be talking about Brother Snowball yesterday in his comments. I've got 3 of them. One is okay, whatever. 2 is wow. But when Miss Lynette said it too, I was just like, okay, we're going to have the Brother Snowball segment, and that's going to be in the next segment because we need to help that brother run for Congress. He says he's going to run. I'm going to donate probably 4 to 5 hours of my time breaking down every voter in the 2nd Congressional District, Mississippi 2, and I'm going to make sure he's got that. Now, he said he needed a golf cart or an electric bike to help get around. And look, we're not made out of money for that, so we're not going to do that. But what we are going to do is we're going to get a flag, a big American flag, so that when he gets that golf cart or he has that electric bike and he's doing right, making his rounds in Jackson and all over the 23 other counties, sitting there in the 2nd Congressional District, at least he'll have that flag. Maybe we can get somebody to donate some flashing lights too. And, I can work with maybe a graphic designer. We'll get him a sign made, Snowball for Congress. Hey, this could go somewhere. This could be a lot of fun. I'm serious. It's a heart attack. I'll get him the data. I'll get it all worked out. My own time, my own money. That's my in-kind contribution. Snowball, if you're out there, get ready because we're going to call your bluff. And I know that there's somebody out there that's got a broken down old golf cart or electric bike that we can sit there and hot wire it up and get it going and get Snowball out there. Make the 2nd Congressional District great again. Snowball. It could happen. But enough of the Snowball. Attorney General Lynn Fitch also spoke at the Neshoba County Fair, and I will always be critical of people, but when they're doing something right, you've got to make sure that you do that too. Because if you're inconsistent, if you're incongruent, if you're not intellectually honest with stuff, then I feel you're just a hater and a snowball thrower, a rock thrower, a grenade launcher, someone who just likes to see everybody out there calmly laying in the pool, and you're the one who jumps in there and does a cannonball and soaks everybody. And that is not who I am. I was that person one time, but not anymore. Lynn Fitch spoke yesterday, and she talked about a lot of the trafficking successes that we've had in Mississippi, where we've taken down a lot of big rings, where we've rescued kids, where we've stopped certain things. She bragged about the opioid settlement that she got. And she says she was first in the nation. Someone says that West Virginia did it 14 years before Lynn did. I don't know if that's a misspeak or what, but I'm going to give Lynn Finch the benefit of the doubt on this. I'm just going to say, because there's so much more that we're going to talk about. And she goes through this whole speech talking about new technology tools. Me and my amazing team and I work on one simple principle. What did we do to help today? I don't see that she got a lot of cheers and successes. She also touted that her office had a 96% success rate in defending the state and its laws. Do you know the one lawsuit she did lose? Guesses? I know Lindy knows. I know Mary Jo Perry knows. I know that if you're an MPV mama or daddy, as Mary Jo would say, you would know. The state lost religious exemption to the COVID vaccinations. Just saying. I'm not hating. It's just the fact that's out there. And they have a website out there, and they're really happy. In 2 years, it's gotten 56,000 visits. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Like some news aggregator sites like WLBT, I'm sure they're getting hammered. I'm sure that a website like she's talking about, probably, you visit 2 or 3 times and you're done. So is that a good thing? I don't know, but that she's saying it is, so I'm going with that. But the one thing that wasn't brought up in her speech, or at least is everything that I saw, I could not find anything. And if I'm wrong on this, please call into the show and let me know I'm wrong, and I will repent. But nowhere in any of her remarks did she talk about voter integrity, voter fraud, election integrity, election fraud. Nothing. And I'm just going to check my 2 sites one more time. Yep. She didn't talk about it at all. No prosecutions there. And to me, I know this is going to sound horrible. Well, I would put the human trafficking and immigration into that same pile, because when you're going in and getting rid of the legal immigrants and finding all those unescorted minors, you're breaking up the child trafficking rings. And so that's all right there. But between that and voter integrity, election integrity, that's like the biggest two issues out there that a state can do. It really is. And Michael Watson, I know your hands are tied, but I think it would be awesome. Like maybe we could somehow sponsor a summit where you had Governor Reeves, Lieutenant Governor Delbert Hosemann, Speaker White, Michael Watson, and Lynn Finch all in the same room and just say, let's figure out a game plan of how we're going to go do this. What is the legislation you need, Mr. Secretary Watson, to actually clean up the voter rolls? Alan Ramsey has proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that there are problems. Some say they weren't as severe as Alan said they were, and some say they were much severe. Some say if you just find two people who are cheating the system, and 2 votes is 2 votes. Just talk to the loser in the Palahatchee alderman race that lost to a coin flip. I bet you he or she would have wanted those 2 votes. And that's where the shortcoming is for me. And it's when you think about voting and how so many people don't even bother to vote. And for someone like me who served in the military 21 years, almost 21 full years, not 21, but almost, I fought for that. And I would have, not happily, but I would have laid down my life to preserve the United States of America. And it's a duty to vote. It's not necessarily even a right. It says we have a duty. And we are just taking that for granted, so many of us. And then there's groups and organizations out there that are ballot harvesting, not necessarily breaking the law, but going right up to that line and influencing and manipulating elections. It's terrible. And we have to break it down and start at the very lowest denominator. I kind of break it down to like someone wanting to be a pilot in the military, and you want to be a fighter pilot. Full disclosure, when I went to pilot school, they're like, what do you want to fly? And, I'm coming from an F-14 background in the Navy, and I just get picked up for pilot. And I'm going into this first interview, and they're like, what do you want to do? And it's one of the colonels who's going to interview me. And he pulls me aside. I don't know why he did. Maybe because he knew I was former Navy and wasn't sure what I was going to say. But he goes, what do you want to fly? And I said, sir, I want to fly C-5s. And he looked at me, he grabbed me, and he was a tanker pilot, right? He was a KC-10 guy. He goes, look at me. When you're up there, you want to fly fighters. You might want to fly a C-5, and you might get that pick down the line. But right now, you want to fly fighters. And I'm like, sir, I want to fly the F-16. He's like, there you go. And I got picked up for that. And then found out I was blind. There went Sponge's dreams of glory right down the tubes. But I'm not complaining because I got to serve on AWACS. That was some great service times. I met some incredible people. That's one thing about the military, incredible people. I know I'm kind of off target, and we're going to get back on target right after we take this break on the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB. YAB.
103.9 WYAB.
Did you get us switched over to shelter insurance?
Actually, I found a deal online.
You did? Does your deal come with award-winning customer service?
Oh, I'm not sure.
Does the deal include a local agent?
Doesn't actually say.
Can we create a customized plan that fits our needs? Let's just call the local shelter agent.
For insurance that fits just right, find a shelter agent near you.
Located in Ridgeland and Flora, come see me, Jamie Creel, Shelter Insurance.
If you want the best health care, where do you go?
The Mayo Clinic. If you want the best care for your vehicle, where do you go? Mayo Auto Clinic in Raymond. Mayo Auto Clinic does foreign and domestic vehicles and diesel repair. Mayo Auto Clinic has ASE certified techs with over 25 years of experience. You can extend the life of your car or truck when you take it to Mayo Auto Clinic. For cost-effective repairs and maintenance, go to the best, Mayo Auto Clinic. Open weekdays at 7 a.m. Highway 18 in Raymond.
Are you a wine enthusiast? Are you looking for the perfect bottle to elevate your next dinner? The ultimate destination for wine lovers is 042 Wine and Spirits on West Government Street in Brandon. They're locally owned, they're locally operated. 042 Wine offers something for everyone, from local favorites to rare vintage wines. 042 Wine and Spirits can help you find your next favorite wine. The friendly and knowledgeable folks at 042 Wine and Spirits will help you find the perfect bottle for every occasion. 042 Wine and Spirits, located on West Government Street in Brandon.
Efficient and trouble-free payroll processing is crucial to a business's success, and a lot of businesses are struggling with it. PeopleLease, a local payroll provider, not only offers top-of-the-line software, but also provides on-demand payroll support services. With PeopleLease, you're never on your own at every step of your payroll process. PeopleLease has the expertise in managing payroll challenges and will work hard to understand your business and employees. That's what makes PeopleLease the perfect choice for you and your business. Learn more online at peoplelease.com.
Pure Air Consultants has always been your go-to for reliable and affordable heating and cooling systems, and now we are offering day and night brand to avoid the 25 to 30% increases that everyone is talking about. With day and night, Pure Air Consultants professionals can install a reliable system with a 10-year system warranty, and right now receive $20 off on service diagnostic fees. Call us today, 601-939-7420, mypureairconsultants.com.
Men, if you answer yes to any of these questions, you could be suffering from low testosterone. Do you have low sex drive? ED, always tired, depressed, loss of muscle mass, obese, loss of focus and drive? You, my friends, need to get your numbers checked. Check out Men's Health of Mississippi, located in Madison, Mississippi, and online at menshealthms.com. Guys, get your numbers checked today. Trust me, she'll thank you for it. I promise. menshealthms.com. Men's Health of Mississippi.
Are you hosting an event? Let Burgers Blues Barbecue handle the food while you enjoy the moment. From an important lunch to a dreamy wedding, B3 Catering is sure to please everyone. Find Burgers Blues Barbecue online and click the catering tab, or just give us a call. And when you're dining out, visit Burgers Blues Barbecue in Flowood, Brandon, or Madison for incredible plates served fresh daily. Burgers Blues Barbecue and B3 Catering, a delicious combination.
This is Jack Hoffman. For nearly 31 years, Tico's Steakhouse has been a staple of fine dining in Jackson, Mississippi. Dad has long since desired for me to come work alongside him. And now that I'm here, I would like to invite you to come experience our family tradition of our hospitality, sizzling steaks, and healthy poured beverages. Our dining rooms are open and we are taking reservations. Our private rooms are also available along with takeout. Call today or stop in and experience Tico's in the second generation.
Tico's Steakhouse, East County Line Road in Ridgeland, 601-956-1030.
Yes, we are back on the Andrew Gosser Show, 103.9 WYAB. I love that song. Gets me pumped up, ready to go. Kind of reminds me of a whole election cycle. Get fired up. Speaking of get fired up, President Trump was really fired up at Senator Josh Hawley yesterday for renaming the Pelosi Act to the Honest Act. And I think this is a great example of how to interact with the president. We are all going to say things with people that we truly care for, dare I say love, that we know are going to fire them up. And we just have to know how to handle that. And I thought what Senator Josh Hawley did yesterday by basically showing some contrition on maybe the way he worded it, but he still stands behind his decision. And Caroline Leavitt came out, and this is from One America News. There are so many great news organizations out there that you can go to. You don't have to go to Fox. You don't have to go to CBS. You don't have to go to MSNBC unless you want to be entertained. You have to look at those news organizations as not news organizations, but as entertainment. But listen to what Caroline Leavitt said about the whole Pelosi deal. Oh, hold on one second. And we're off. Well, maybe not. I might not get that sound. I'm going to try it one more time. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Sincerely apologize for that.
Idea to put a ban on stock trading for members of Congress is even a thing is because of Nancy Pelosi. I mean, she is rightfully criticized because she makes, I think, $174,000 a year, yet she has a net worth of approximately $413 million. In 2024, Nancy Pelosi's stock portfolio, this was a fascinating statistic to me, grew 70% in 1 year in 2024, and her portfolio outperformed every single large hedge fund in that same year, and even more than doubled the returns of Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway. So even if the president stands with the American people on this, he doesn't want to see people like Nancy Pelosi enriching themselves off of public service and ripping off their constituents in the process. As for the mechanics of the legislation and how it will move forward, the White House continues to be in discussions with our friends on Capitol Hill.
And you heard that, our friends on Capitol Hill. That was her giving a head nod to Josh Hawley saying, look, we don't like the fact that you voted with the Democrats to get this out of the committee, but we hear you. And many of us who follow politics like Josh Hawley. I'll tell you what, when there's a hearing about to go down and Josh Hawley's in there, you know there's about to be fireworks. And I'm not necessarily saying he's grandstanding, but he's going to make sure that his point gets heard well and clear. The other big issue, Trump said that he's going to rebuild the presidential ballroom for $200 million, privately funded and everything. This is why people can't trust Democrats. Remember how I always say, no solutions, just sound bites? Here you go.
Here's even something more confounding. Some breaking news.
Breaking news.
Just now, the White House announced construction of a $200 million White House ballroom that will begin in September. A $200 million ballroom.
Oh, my God.
Where did this money come from?
Where?
Did Congress appropriate it?
No.
I don't think so. It's almost like Doge was never about waste at all.
President Trump and other donors have generously committed to donating the funds necessary to build this approximately $200 million structure.
And that's a wrap, Chuck. It's about time for you to join Senator Mitch McConnell in the rich old folks and political home. You just need to leave. When you have senators that are so brazen and go out there and just start doing that kind of stuff and have no remorse to think that someone might fact check them, it's so disingenuous, number one, but it just makes everybody realize how full of hot garbage the Democrats really are. They don't have a real platform. They don't know what their left hand from their right. They don't know if they're supposed to be zigging or zagging. But you know what I do know? That we're all listening to the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB. We're at the top of the hour break, and when we get back, we're going to hit it and hit it hard.
This is Central Mississippi's Stimulating Talk.
1039 WYAB, Pocahontas, Jackson.
This is CBS News on the Hour, presented by Indeed.com.
I'm Cammie McCormick. U.S. employers added just 73,000 jobs last month. That is much weaker than previously reported. The Labor Department's revision shaved 258,000 jobs off May and June payrolls. Analyst Mark Hamrick.
This is one of those reports that we see only, once every several years, where you have to ask the question, are we at an inflection point in the U.S. economy? And the inflection point would be one where the economy is weakening substantially.
It comes after the announcement of new tariffs on dozens of countries, many starting August 7th. CBS's Jill Schlesinger.
These tariffs range from 10% for the UK to up to 40% for some smaller Asian countries.
The executive order confirmed that any country that was not included in the list will face a 10% tariff, though there are a few exceptions, like Brazil, which is facing a steeper 50% tariff.
A Justice Department official whose husband operated an app that helps immigrants locate ICE agents has been fired. Details from correspondent Scott McFarland.
Carolyn Feinstein of Texas was a bankruptcy auditor for the U.S. Department of Justice and last month became the latest in a series of firings from that agency. She says she was terminated because her husband runs a controversial app called ICE Block, which allows people to track immigration enforcement activity in their neighborhoods. The Department of Justice told CBS News that app endangers the lives of immigration officers. Feinstein acknowledges she owned a 20% stake in the company.
President Trump's Mideast envoy made an unusual trip to Gaza today. Linda Gradstein has more from Jerusalem.
Steve Witkoff traveled to Gaza to inspect one of the distribution sites run by the U.S.-backed Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. The UN says more than 1,300 Palestinians have been killed trying to access food aid since March, most of them by Israel. Israel says its fighters are not responsible for most of the deaths and that they fire only when they are surrounded by mobs of Palestinians.
A U.S. Japanese-Russian crew is on its way to the International Space Station. The SpaceX liftoff just moments ago.
3, 2, 1, ignition. Ignition's full power and liftoff. Go Falcon, go NASA, go Crew 11.
Parts of the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast are recovering from torrential rains yesterday. Nikki Batiste is watching the weather.
The flood threat for the East Coast isn't over yet. We could see heavy rains in the Carolinas later today with a threat of more flash floods there.
Stocks are lower today on Wall Street after that jobs report and the announcement of more tariffs. The Dow off 452 points. This is CBS News.
Progressive Insurance, with insurance for cars, home, boat, motorcycles, RVs, and commercial vehicles at 1-800-PROGRESSIVE and Progressive.com.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, their award-winning tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Find the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief today for a free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply.
News this hour is brought to you by the Rusty Healy Agency in Madison. Call Landon Thompson at 601-856-3681 to request a quote or learn more.
A domestic situation, then a fatal situation. 94 with a 70% chance for thunderstorms this afternoon and a heat index at 108. Still dangerous enough for a heat advisory. Storm chances this evening, the low is 73. Saturday, a 50-50 shot at storms with a high at 91. Less of a rain chance Sunday with a high at 92. You've got news on 103.9 WYAB. I'm Chris Davis. A standoff at the Westwood Apartments on Robinson Street Thursday after 52-year-old Ron Christopher Allen shot his wife, 24-year-old Malia Bess, several times inside the leasing office where she worked, killing her, says Jackson Police Chief Joseph Wade.
We were able to get the suspect to surrender without any other loss of life or injury.
Allen was booked on a murder charge. School choice. Mississippi doesn't have it yet, but it may not be long before your kids can choose where they go to school, says House Speaker Jason White. He says some of the money for that could come from the federal government.
Maybe stacking between the federal scholarships that should and hopefully are available with a state-run program.
Talking with the Magnolia Tribune following his Thursday speech at the Neshoba County Fair, he said state lawmakers will look at allowing public-to-public transfers and even public-to-private transfers if they can find the money. At least one person killed in a crash near Cleveland. That wreck on Highway 8, just east of the city, Thursday morning, says the Highway Patrol. A 78-year-old man in DeSoto County will likely die in prison, getting 2 15-year sentences Thursday for shooting a woman who refused to go to bed with him. Steve Robertson shot her in the leg when she wouldn't disrobe, then shot at his son when he tried to take the gun away. A bad day in the house for everybody. More news in 1 hour on 103.9 WYAB. I'm Chris Davis.
The views and opinions expressed in this program are the individual views and opinions of the people expressing them and do not necessarily reflect those of this radio station, its parent, affiliated, or related entities, agents, or employees.
Yes, you are. You are locked into the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB. The phone number, if you want to be part of the program today, is 601-879-0002. And the text line is open. The text line number is 601-879-5060. We're streaming on Rumble. We're streaming on X. We're streaming on YouTube. And we're streaming on that social media platform that begins with a F, but we don't like saying the name. And of course, at the mothership, WYAB.com. You can always listen to us there. And we just really appreciate that. Look, we're equipping the saints daily on this show. That's our most important job, giving you the ammunition you need to go out there into the world and walk like you know what you're talking about, because you do know what you're talking about. Today's proverb that really got me, and I said it in the first hour, but it's really even hit me more as we've been talking about these different things, is one who is slow to anger has great understanding, but one who's quick-tempered exalts foolishness. You know, we've got to continue to pay attention to what some of these people are pushing down our throats and remember, but not let it affect our mind and our ability to think. I mean, that's one of the greatest things that you learned in the military, is getting your enemy so angered and fired up that they're not making sound tactical decisions. And getting them to have unforced errors, and then taking advantage of those unforced errors. The first story I want to lead off with this hour is a song. First song. The first story I want to lead off with this hour is coming from Brother Kingfish at Jackson Jambalaya. I check his blog daily. He doesn't sponsor a show or anything. It's just when I get good news or somebody who's covering something that I didn't see, I feel compelled to use those stories here on the air. And this one you would think would be all over the news, but it isn't. And this was Thursday, July 31st. Attorney General Lynn Finch announced completion of Operation Guardian Force, a 2-week statewide law enforcement effort led by the Attorney General's Office of Human Trafficking, Fentanyl Strike Force, and Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force. The operation resulted in 72 arrests and in the recovery of 29 human trafficking victims. And this is what I voted for. This is what I want to see more of. And when we see things like this, we have to cheer and be thankful for that. Listen to the group of people who are all involved in this. Bay St. Louis Police Department, Biloxi Police Department, DeSoto County Sheriff's Office, Drug Enforcement Agency, DEI or DEA, Federal Bureau of Investigation, Forest County Sheriff's Office, Harrison County Sheriff's Office, Hattiesburg Police Department, Homeland Security Investigations, Horn Lake Police Department, Jackson County Sheriff's Office, Jones County Sheriff's Office, Lamar County Sheriff's Office, Lee County Sheriff's Office, Mississippi Bureau of Investigation, Mississippi Bureau of Narcotics, Mississippi Department of Revenue Alcohol Beverage Control, ABC, Mississippi Office of Homeland Security, North Mississippi Narcotics Task Force, Saltillo Police Department. If I said that wrong, I'm sorry. People in Saltillo, I repent. Forgive. South Haven Police Department, Stone County Sheriff's Office, Tunica County Sheriff's Office, Tupelo Police Department, Wayne County Sheriff's Department. All those people coming together to get this done. And I was just like, yes, why don't we hear more about this? And then I put on my tactical hat, and, maybe there are people that we don't want to have this announced to. Maybe there are things ongoing and they're not sitting there tooting their own horn per se. Politicians always love it when other people go ahead and praise them. And maybe that's just what was happening here. But for me, when I read this, I was happy. Not be happy because I know all of this nonsense is going on in Mississippi. It breaks my heart to think about. As a parent, that's like the nightmare right there, right? Knowing that your kid is somewhere out there and you can't find them. I will never forget the time I lost my middle son in the Panama City Mall for 5 minutes. That joker went to the cookie store and didn't tell anybody, and I was screaming at the top of my lungs with my military command voice, and it was echoing down all four wings of the Panama City Mall, if you've ever been there. And it was crazy. Thank goodness he just wanted a cookie, and like a dummy, I bought him a cookie. But man, I was mad at him. But losing a kid, no fun. That was 5 minutes of pure terror and horror and ooh. So we see something like this. Good job. Can we put one of these together for the voter and election task force? Attorney General Fitch, could we do that? Could we go in there and just go in there and start cleaning these jokers out that are running these types of operations? Every week I spend a good 3 to 4 hours doing some of my own investigating. And that's just not me sitting in front of my computer with AI trying to do stuff. This is actually like going and visiting and trying to get stuff done. And we are making progress. There's some groups out there that people are going to be mighty surprised are actually operating inside the state of Mississippi. And they're out there. And I don't know why we don't go after them. I don't know if it's just the fruit is not big enough to pick. I don't know if it's just not what people are genuinely focused on. But for me, that would definitely be a big one. Then this one comes from WLBT. Mississippi Police Chief says he will not entertain, quote, hood culture, unquote. Ooh, that got my attention real quick. This is coming out of Magee, Mississippi. A police chief in Mississippi is letting his standards be known across the city of Magee. On Saturday, Magee Police Chief Dennis Borges released a statement on Facebook regarding multiple incidents that happened over the weekend. Borges said that hood culture would not be tolerated. Now, what is hood culture? We've kind of talked about it, but I mean, hood culture. What hood? When people, they first started calling it black fatigue, and I don't necessarily agree with that. But hood culture fatigue, I agree with that. And I mean, this guy spared no punches. If you weren't raised to conduct yourself properly in public, Magee will be the place to remind you of how to behave. The recent fights at the Sportsplex and at GW, I don't know what GW is, and Joe's are unacceptable and will not be tolerated. Let me be direct. This is not about race. It's not about black. It's not about white or Hispanic culture. It's about hood culture. And we are not going to entertainment here. And man, when you got somebody like that coming out and so clearly articulating that, we should not entertain that type of stuff. And that could be broken down to whether the things you're doing, the drugs you're doing, the alcohol you're drinking underage, the illegal firearm possession that so many people have. Andy, it's a Second Amendment right to have a firearm. Yeah. But you can't be walking around as a 15-year-old with one. That's illegal firearm possession. Very clear and simple. We need to come together as a community, not just the black community or the white community, but as Mississippi, and just say, we're not going to tolerate this hot garbage anymore. We're not going to sacrifice any of our rights that are guaranteed to us by the Constitution, but we can come together and start having this dialogue where we're not sitting there screaming at each other. We're not sitting there threatening each other, but we're saying, look, we don't like fights in public. That one Mexican restaurant sticks out in my mind that Clay Edwards had, where, I mean, it was just wigs were going everywhere, fights, girls getting knocked out, craziness, rioting. That's not how it's supposed to be. That's not what America's like the greatest place to live. And inside America, Mississippi's the greatest place to live. That's not what we are. We're supposed to be out there being examples for all the rest of the states. And granted, we don't hear about it as often in Mississippi because, one, we have a smaller population. And a lot of times, a lot of that stuff is cleared up internally. The community polices itself. I'm grateful that this police chief came out and was so blunt and direct about it in McGee. I hope and pray that other police chiefs and sheriffs say the same thing. And then the best part about it is that the community has to rally around these men and women who are making these bold declarations and saying, yep, we stand with chief. Yep, we stand with sheriff. We don't want any of this hot garbage. And then when they do, the first thing they do when they're in jail is someone needs to go minister to those kids, those people. You know, this is something that was told to me by somebody who went through the system. And he goes, my whole life in school, I never heard about God. But as soon as I actually went to prison, I got a Bible and there were Bible studies and no one ever told me this. And he genuinely believes he would have never done half the stuff that he did if he would have just had God earlier in his life. I'm preaching a little bit, but it is what it is. And that's not to say that people of the faith don't do stupid things, criminal things. Everybody should fall short of the glory of God. But it's that baseline that everybody has. And what your baseline is going to determine how far apart your guardrails are. It just seems like that's just a better baseline to have. We are off and running on the Andrew Gosser Show. We still have a lot to talk about. When we get back, we're going to listen to Stephen A. Smith. We've got Scott Jennings. It's they call it the Abby Phillips Show, but it's really Scott Jennings' show, and they're just on it. And to hear and see these liberals just melting like an A5 Wagyu, it's fun. It's glorious. I relish it. I probably shouldn't, but for me, it's political theater and it's enjoyable. And the more chances we get to point those things out here at WYAB.com or WYAB 103.9 at WYAB.com, we're going to do it. And we're only able to do that because we have awesome sponsors. You're listening to the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB. We will be right back. Whether new construction or remodeling, Stephen Arrington and his team at Elite Custom Construction can design and build your dream kitchen and cabinets, inside and outside. Using high-quality products, Elite Custom Construction specializes in cabinetry and intricate millwork. Established in 2011, licensed and insured, Elite Custom Construction is your solution to your next project. Call Stephen at 601-927-0552 or visit them online at elitecustomconstruction.net.
So when are you going to check that thing off your to-do list?
Right, that. I don't know. How about next week?
How about now?
Or I could do it later, right?
No more putting it off. Do it now so you don't forget. You want this and have for a while.
You're right. I want this.
You deserve this, and it can help you in the long run. There, I just logged on to homescc.edu. We're getting you registered right now.
Wait. Hold up. I thought you had to show up on site to register at Homes.
You can do either one. You know that career you talk about all the time? The life you dream about? It starts today. How does that famous quote go?
Please don't.
The secret to getting ahead is
Getting started.
Fall classes start August 18th, and we don't do Fridays at Homes. Register at a campus near you Monday through Thursday, 8:30 to 3:30, or right now at homecc.edu. And when you come to Home CC, your tuition could be free with a 20 on your ACT.
Holmes Community College.
no place like Homes.
It's time to put a little more sizzle in your red-hot Mississippi summer at Mazda of Jackson. Drive away on your road trip with a boost from Mazda of Jackson's $1,000 off owner loyalty reward and low 1.9% financing on a 2025 CX-90, CX-70, and the Assembled in America CX-50. And take advantage of the pre-tariff inventory before it's gone. It's time to choose Mazda. Shop online at MazdaofJackson.com or visit Mazda of Jackson, I-55 Frontage Road in Jackson.
Here's a word from John White, the owner of Two Gun Tactical in Flowood and Ridgeland.
I carry a gun every day, all the time. Last year in America, 2 million legal guns were pulled, and it stopped the threat. So I'm really wearing a firearm just to stop the threat. There's more likelihood of me just pulling it and not using it than there is using it. TwoGunTactical.com, TwoGunTactical.com.
Two Gun Tactical, the South's only country club.
And we are back on the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB. 601-879-0002 is the phone-in number. 601-879-5060 is the text line number. And, of course, we are streaming on Rumble. We're streaming on X. We're streaming on YouTube and at WYAB.com. And, of course, that other social media that begins with the letter F. But we don't like saying it. All right. Stephen A. Smith. When I started agreeing with Stephen A. Smith, I truly consult the Bible and wondering if the tribulation has started because we just really haven't agreed on much. But I think he's leaning more towards my side than I'm leaning towards his side. And Stephen A. Smith was just asked about Zohran Mamdani's primary election win for Democrats. And I got this from Thomas Sowell Quotes. And I just want to play this and then comment on it because I feel like this is something that if we're not careful, if we don't highlight what's going on in New York and Illinois and California, it's going to creep in here to Mississippi. Many of us would say that it's already here. We just can't see it yet. But as long as I can point out these things and then bring in different examples from different points of views that are still agreeing with what I'm saying, we need to take advantage of that, ladies and gentlemen. Stephen A. Smith.
But when this brother said that, what you were saying is nobody needs to make more than a certain amount of money. Who the hell are you to say that? This is America. That's not going to fly. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you right now, the Democrats, if AOC and Mamdani and people like and Bernie Sanders,
Colonel Sanders,
if folks like that take over the Democratic Party, one or two things happening. The Democratic Party is toast.
Yep.
Or America is.
Or America is. Cut it off a little early. Stephen A. Smith is right. These socialists who are coming in, who don't believe in capitalism, who don't agree that America is a wonderful country. It's got its blemishes. It's got its history. We're not denying that, but it is the best place to live on earth. And we continue to say that. And you know what? You're having more people from not necessarily the traditional right wing of America coming to this realization. You know, what's funny to me is Stephen A. didn't have any problem with Colonel Sanders or AOC or this Mondami guy until they said until they put the limit on how much money Stephen A. could make. And then he got really fired up really quick. It's funny how people are always feeling free to indiscriminately spend money when it's not their money. But as soon as it's their money, oh, Lord. Not my money going to that. Not my money going to that socialist hellhole that is New York right now. And that's what it is. Man, I have a family that live in New York, and every once in a while I get videos of what's going on down there, and I can't believe it. I thought I was in some Eastern European former Warsaw Pact country. And I'm like, that's New York? Our great cities are literally going down the toilet. There are apps for San Francisco that tell you which streets are clean and which ones are full of stuff. That just goes to prove the point that Americans will always produce what they need, even if we don't realize it at first. Our creative genius and prowess to innovate technology is breathtakingly awesome at times, but it can be used for incredibly stupid stuff. That was Stephen A. Smith. The other big story that I want to talk about is this whole recession talk and how Trump's tariffs were going to do bad stuff. And I realize that jobs growth today, the economic news today wasn't as great as people wanted. And it's, oh my gosh, the sky is falling. But it's really not. It's just transitioning. There is no recession. We're doing incredibly well. And I just thought that this piece of sound right here really encapsulated what I'm feeling. And the thing is we need more people like Scott Jensen on TV. We need more people like Scott Jensen on our block. We need more people who can go up there and talk to people and have a conversation and not necessarily change their mind, but at least get them to sit there and think about it. Because as soon as they start thinking, it's on.
Well, I would just like to go, but I'd like to build a DeLorean and go back to April when everybody here was predicting likely to cause a recession. Investment stops and a recession happens. They're not talking about a U.S. recession. They're talking about a global recession. Lead to recession. Eventually, there being a reception.
Palpable panic on Wall Street. Red numbers and worries about something else that starts with an R. Recession.
You called the recession. You took your shoe off.
And Joe, would you like to see that again?
You took your shoe off. You brought cookies out here.
He's literally taking his shoe off. But this wasn't the only program that talked about recession back in April. Here is Mr. Hakeem Jeffries on CNN back in April.
Donald Trump is clearly crashing the economy in real time, and he's driving us toward a recession. The manner in which these tariffs have been unleashed on the American people will result in the largest tax increase on everyday Americans since at least 1968. And it's going to cost everyday Americans over $4,000 per year if these tariffs are fully implemented. And that clearly is a problem. That's not what the American people signed up for.
No, we signed up for President Trump to fix the economic situation that Joe Biden put us in. And he's doing a really good job of that right now. And it's not saying that everything's perfect, easy going. It's not. We know that there's bumps in the road, but it is nothing like the panicans and the Democrats are talking about. But let's finish up this right here.
You took your shoe off and you said there was going to be a recession.
Economic circumstances have now been put in place that most Wall Street economists of senior note say are likely to cause a recession.
GDP.
So it's awesome. Scott Jennings is using their own words against them, and they're so blinded by their TDS they can't even realize it. Another thing that I've noticed is that the left is bringing in a lot of economists with foreign accents to make them sound smart, but they're not. This guy's from Britain. If you go look at Britain's economy right now, number one, they're getting completely steamrolled in immigration. They're losing their culture so fast. I'm so glad I went to London this past March. Maybe it was April. Can't remember now. But I was so glad I went then and got to see London as it was, because you just look at some of what's happening over there, and it's frightening. Their culture is being replaced, and they're not really doing anything about it. But yet they'll send their economists over here to CNN to tell us what to think. And people say, Andy, why do you play this? Because it's so entertaining, number one. But number two, it's also educational in that you can see that even though the liberals aren't going to agree with what you're saying, the people who are in the middle and trying to make an honest decision about stuff, when you can clearly juxtapose those two sides right side by side, they almost always go our way. Not every time, but almost always. They're like, I see what you're saying there. Thank you. Let's finish this one up.
It is 3% early to give a final verdict.
Right, Scott,
it's too early. Just a second, Abby. He's basically calling me out here. It's too early.
It's too early. It's too early. So it's not too early to declare a recession, but it's too early to say that it didn't work. This reminds me of a story that we probably don't even tell our kids anymore, but the story of Chicken Little, the sky is falling. The sky's not falling. What is happening is lots of high-stakes negotiations that 99% of America couldn't even begin to comprehend or initiate, and less than 0.1% could actually successfully navigate. But there's some great people at the top monitoring our economic system, our way of life. And I genuinely have faith. Before we had the income tax, America was richer than it ever was, and all their money came from tariffs. Why don't we teach this in the schools? I know we don't have the history test anymore, but that's a whole nother story. But why don't we teach that? And think about how hard it was back then to negotiate these deals. Now we've got cell phones and satellite phones. Shout out to SpaceX. Apparently a good launch today, sending more troops or more astronauts to the International Space Station. Hooray. Now it's even easier to communicate with people. Why can't these deals be negotiated with? And it's every day, it's like Lucy sitting there holding the football for Charlie Brown trying to kick it, and goes up to kick it and she pulls it away. That's all the Democrats are doing. They can't stand on any footing when it comes to this economic recovery. And there's already stories coming out from CNN. I got them in the stack, but I'm not going to get to them today. But economists are already saying they expect 2 cuts of the interest rate this year, one in September and one in November. And I think if that happens, that's great. But why didn't we have one now? TDS. It's a real thing. It needs to go into the DSM. Because these people just cannot talk. They cannot get their story straight. All they care about is what Donald Trump's doing, and whatever he's doing, it must mean we'd be going the other way. But we're not doing that here at WYAB.com. We're not doing that on the Andrew Gosser Show. We're forging our own path ahead. And if we agree with President Trump, we're going to say so. And when we disagree, we'll do so respectfully and say why. And that's just the way it's going to go. We'll be right back.
.1039 WYAB.
Would you like the convenience of a sunglass clip that fits your eyeglass frame? Hi, it's Bruce from iGear Optical, and I've heard you asking, so I stocked up on them. Come choose from our selection of Revolution eyewear frames with magnetic sun clips at fantastic prices. For about the same price as a regular eyeglass frame, you can have the best of both worlds while they last. Come see me and I'll customize a pair just for you at iGear Optical, 2630 Highway 80 East in Pearl, and on the web at iGearOptical.com.
Well, I'm sitting here today with one of my favorite clients, Reggie Brumfield. The first time I believe we worked together was around 25 years ago, wasn't it, Reggie?
I remember that time. My wife, Kathy, and I we were looking for a home. He sold that house to us, and when we got ready to buy another home, he helped us sell that home and buy another home. So 25 years later, when we decided to purchase another home, your name was the only one in our minds.
601-720-4037, RitaJensen.net.
CBS News Brief. Hiring around the U.S. is hitting a wall. There was a weaker than expected jobs report out today showing employers added only 73,000 jobs. Analyst Mark Hamrick.
We have this situation where in some ways, because of concern about Trump administration policy, tariffs being at the top of that list, employers are cautious to hire, but they're somewhat reticent to shed workers.
Dozens of countries around the world are studying the new tariffs President Trump has announced. Correspondent Elizabeth Palmer reports.
Switzerland reeling from that unexpected 39%. So not only its stock market is down, its currency as well.
A SpaceX crew lifted off today for the International Space Station.
3, 2, 1, ignition. Ignition's full power and liftoff. Go Falcon. Go NASA. Go through 11.
On Wall Street, stocks are lower. CBS
Of
News
the world.
Brief. I'm
At the
Captain
top is
McCormick.
Switzerland. They're only paying a quarter for interest rates. Cambodia, Japan, Denmark, Thailand, Botswana, Barbados, Taiwan, Bulgaria, Cuba, Sweden, Morocco, Cabo Verde, South Korea, Algeria, Canada, Albania, Libya, Malaysia, China, New Zealand, Trinidad and Tobago, Czechia, Bolivia, Australia, Costa Rica, the Bahamas, Kuwait, Papua New Guinea, Bosnia, United Kingdom, and the UAE are all paying lower interest rates than the United States of America, which has one of the hottest and strongest economies in the world. The president sent this note to the Fed chair. It says, Jerome, you are as usual too late. You have cost the USA a fortune. And
man, with this double garage here on the south side, you might want to consider a insulated door. I came in earlier today about 2:30. The car thermometer said 99 degrees. The thermometer inside the garage was 82.
That's why they've been around 50 years.
Yeah.
Corkendoor.com. CORKERN door.com.
You know what's a nightmare? We've all seen that movie where the bad guy's coming and your gun jams up. Luckily, that's just a movie, but you can't take the chance it could happen to you in real life. Hey, y'all, I'm Therese Apel from Dark Horse Press, and I've written stories about a whole lot of situations where people needed their gun to work for them. So if yours is moody or likes to jam, you need to take it to Guns and Gear. Let their professional gunsmiths look at it and fix it so it'll work when you need it. They're the absolute best at what they do, and that's why I buy all my guns from them. That's Guns and Gear in Gluckstadt. Check them out today.
The Tri-County Academy Rebel success in the classroom and on the athletic stage begins with the Tri-County Academy Booster Club. Join the team and be a Rebel by getting involved and volunteering as a booster. Your involvement is the generator for fundraisers, facility upgrades, equipment, uniforms, and all other needs. Tri-County Athletics thrives in part because of our TCA boosters. Join today by calling the TCA main office at 601-879-8517 and help the Rebels continue the championship tradition.
And we are back on the Andrew Gosser Show, 103.9 WYAB. Happy to be here, proud to serve. Every day's a holiday, every meal's a feast, every paycheck is a fortune. Man, I haven't said that in a long time. Sometimes you just have to pump yourself up in the military and get you going. That's it. You know what gets me pumped up is when listeners during the break fire at me stories and clips that are just so pertinent to what we're talking about. It's like there's no way I could show prep to this level. It's just divinity. You know, here we are talking about the economics of the United States right now and how we're doing so well. Scott Jennings, and I know that there's the employment number, it's the jobs creation number. If they said it fell through the roof, the sky is falling. I'm going to wait and see what happens with that. But what's really funny is this is a quote from just 10 minutes ago that someone clipped up and sent to me. And to the person who sent this to me, unknown texter, thank you very much. You are the main character of the story today, and we appreciate that. With that, let's listen to Caroline Levitt.
The world. At the top is Switzerland. They're only paying a quarter for interest rates. Cambodia, Japan, Denmark, Thailand, Botswana, Barbados, Taiwan, Bulgaria, Cuba, Sweden, Morocco, Cabo Verde, South Korea, Algeria, Canada, Albania, Libya, Malaysia, China, New Zealand, Trinidad and Tobago, Czechia, Bolivia, Australia, Costa Rica, the Bahamas, Kuwait, Papua New Guinea, Bosnia, United Kingdom, and the UAE are all paying lower interest rates than the United States of America, which has one of the hottest and strongest economies in the world.
Why? All those people, all those countries are dying to do business with us. We're signing all these treaties. We're doing all this great stuff with these countries. Why do they have to pay less interest than we do? It's incongruent. It doesn't make sense. Those countries, some of those countries don't have, well, none of those countries have the GDP that we have, but some of those countries don't even have the same, not even on the same playing field, like 4, 5, 6 levels. Switzerland, Bolivia, Australia. Why are we paying so much in interest rates? It's only hurting the taxpayers and the citizens of the United States of America. It's not hurting the political class. It's not hurting the bankers. Nope, it's hurting us.
The president sent this note to the Fed chair. It says, Jerome, you are as usual too late. You have cost the USA a fortune and continue to do so. You should lower the rate by a lot. Hundreds of billions of dollars are being lost and there is no inflation. And the president is right. There is historically low inflation thanks to his policies. And we will continue.
Yep. Imagine that. That clip was via Fox News, by the way. So when you have these so-called economists who aren't really doing anything in economics, they've got a business degree or they're not actually studying how the market's working, and they say, oh, they have to be that high, you should really think twice about it. All these other economies around the world are taking advantage of us. And it's not supposed to be that way. You know, when we have natural disasters, do you see the C-5s from Bolivia flying in to help us? I don't even see the UAE. You know, are they sending us a check? UAE could do that. And actually, the UAE is kind of doing that now. But all these, Cambodia, United Kingdom, we were just talking about London, they don't have near the GDP that we have. They don't have the capabilities that we have. They don't have, you know, for all that manufacturing that we've offshored and sent overseas, we still have one of the best manufacturing sectors in the world. It's going to take us a while to spin it back up the way that we want it to be, the way it used to be. But we are being held hostage now, not by the mainstream media, not by the Congress, but we're being held up by the Fed chairman and the kings and queens in the judicial branch. We need to keep going down that road. We need to keep on staying informed on what they're doing. And now now you can go and tell all your friends, all these countries. Yeah, I just got texted there asking me to retweet that. So if you're following me on X, it's just been retweeted, so you can go have that for your own knowledge. Download it, consume it, make it yours. I didn't say it, you did. This is a business where we don't need to take credit for everything. Equipping the saints, empowering the saints. That's what we're talking about. All right. Last thing, I was going to actually do the brain drain at the top of the hour. Mississippi is losing too many residents. Too few people are doing anything about it, and too few people are doing anything about it. this is at Mississippi Today. If you go to mississippi.org/brain drain, you will see this study. I've taken the study, and it's a narrative that's being pushed. And I think, honestly, if you like Mississippi, you should take this study and have your input heard. Going to take you 15 minutes. Well, no, probably 5. You don't have to leave your name or number or anything like that. But Mississippi Today does have cookies, and they'll try to track you down somehow, I'm sure. But it's funny. It's got a blue Mississippi pointing to the word brain and then a red drain. It's the iconography is not missed out on my behalf. And the thing about it is that Mississippi, our out-migration right now is very low. I genuinely think we wouldn't even have any loss of population if we just had normal birth rates, which we've talked about, which is another story in the stack of stuff that I didn't have time to get to. But the American birth rates are even worse than we thought just 3 months ago. You know, if we had lower birth or interest rates, people might be able to afford that first home. New couples, young in life. That biological clock is ticking, ladies. Tick tock. And I'm not going to say who it was, but a friend of mine said, "Andy, that's not fair to do that. You don't realize how it is." I'm like, I do. And kids are wonderful. My granddaughter is now 2 years old, officially in the terrible 2. She started about 9 months ago. Early achiever. But when we have all this good economic news and yet it's not being funneled, the last piece of the puzzle, the interest rates is not being funneled down, you know, it's a problem. There's other great news going on with our economy, like the educational accounts. I don't know if people have heard about this, the 529 plans that used to be used only for college. Now you could go ahead and use them for technical school, like if you want to be a welder or an electrician or a carpenter, like my man Stephen Arrington over at Elite Custom Construction. You want to be a carpenter, you can use that account for that. You know, and I always make this joke, but it's true. We need plumbers. It's a dirty job, but someone's going to get paid. Might as well be you. Might as well be you. The administration is freeing up so many, or is removing the handcuffs on so many programs, getting rid of the DEI requirements, making it a true meritocracy, where if you genuinely do put in the hard work and do the work, you're going to be all right. If you don't do the work, if you're just trying to slide on by, if the content of your character is not where it needs to be, well, you might have difficulty in life. And look, I know Clay Edwards say it, but not everybody's going to be a future rocket scientist, astronaut, or engineer. Some people aren't going to be pilots or boat captains. Some of us just might be farmers. And you know what? That's a great career field. Farming, woo, I love it. I eat all right. It's nice when you can eat the own stuff that you grow. Farm fresh lamb, if you never had it. But we need farmers. We need electricians. We need teachers. Not necessarily teachers that go to school, get their PhD in lesbian African studies, but real degrees. We need people to do job. We need road workers. I mean, and seriously, shout out to Mississippi Department of Transportation fixing I-49. I don't know if anybody saw the ski jump that happened over this extreme heat, but they got out there pretty quick and they got it done. And they did a great patch job, and we're grateful for that. That's good money. If you can operate that paver, by the way, Brian Dubeck, I think you did a great job operating the paver for me. I'll never forget it, and I appreciate it. But, you know, if you can do that, you can make some great money. We need entrepreneurs out there, restaurateurs. You don't necessarily need to go to college and get a 4-year bachelor's degree in something that's never going to give you any money, that's going to put you $100,000 in debt. That whole program has been reformatted. And the New York Times is complaining about it. To me, I think it's a great idea. It's just another one of the 101 reasons that President Trump is manipulating what's already in place to make it more accessible to the rest of us. And it's going to continue to grow. It's going to continue to get better. But if we do not know about these things, then we're not going to be able to take advantage of them. And quite truthfully, I had never heard of a 529 plan. I had the Montgomery GI Bill and post 9/11 add-on. So that paid for all of my stuff. And I'm very grateful for that. I didn't mind fighting for the country, and so far the country's taken care of me, and I'm grateful for it. We're back with the last segment for the week on the Andrew Gosser Show. We will be right back. Go ahead and repeat that.
And so, unlike Chris McDaniel and Melanie Sojourner, I actually attack Democrats, not just other Republicans.
Oh my God. There you go. Kingfish filling in for
and you're not arguing.
No, I'm just, hey, you want to know what? Sometimes I got to do that. I will never let you down. We're getting ready to hand off.
I'll let you know when you do. Don't worry.
Oh, I'm not worried about that at all, man. You want to know what? There's all sorts of great stuff to do this weekend. And one thing that I'm going to do, and I know the Sweet Bee isn't listening, so I'm just letting my audience know what we're going to do. And everybody knows how great a balance I have, how fleet of foot I am. I'm a great runner, sprinter. I can do all sorts of things. In Madison, there is a ballroom dancing class Saturday night at 2:00, and the Sweet Bee and I.
Night?
Yep.
2:00, huh? 2 a.m, huh?
Saturday, August 2nd, from 6 to 10. 6 to 10.
Okay, you said 2:00. Okay.
Yeah, thank you. See, that's why we got Kingfish here for the last segment. But that's what we're gonna do. And as we talk about this, I always talk about men. Got to make sure that we're going out and doing stuff with our wives that gives them some enjoyment too.
I took lessons a long time ago. That's actually fun. And let me tell you, that's a real workout. The first time I took a lesson, it was a private lesson. And about 45 minutes into it, my calves just quit working. They didn't cramp. They didn't hurt, get sore. They just stopped working. I could not move my legs. It's a great workout.
Oh,
and the dances, those regular dances they have on Saturday nights once a month, those are actually pretty fun. I mean, it's not like going to the club where you got to sit there and worry. Everybody's trying to hit on somebody or all that kind of crap. And you got girls twerking and looking at themselves in the mirror as they dance, that kind of garbage, I mean, so, you can go, everybody's there to just have fun. It's very clean. It's a lot of fun.
It's ballroom dancing. And so that is going to be what I'm going to do with the Sweet Bee this weekend. I don't know what everybody else is going to do this weekend, but I do hope that you spend some time with the ones that are around you and that you love, because sometimes bad things happen and it's no guarantee. You're listening to the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB. We will be back in 46 hours. Take care, everybody. Be blessed.